I mean, literally one time I broke up with this girl, okay? She was Japanese. Her parents were coming from Japan that day. So they came that day and I broke up with her and they were actually coming, apparently they were excited to meet me. Maybe I was being a dick. Actually, like the way I explain this sounds fucking terrible. And all right, guys. So Jubilee dropped a video where teenage boys answer all your questions, but they're anonymous, kind of like the internet. So apparently they're going to give better answers. But I played online games with teenage boys. All they're going to do is kill me, then teabag my dead body, then call me the N-word, and then they're going to camp my spawn. So every time I come back to life with the shitty equipment, they're just going to kill me again. And then I'm going to hear like their little preteen voices where their balls haven't dropped. They're like, you suck. Oh my God, you're so old and shitty. It's going to be like that. Yeah, so I figured there's going to be a lot of degrading stuff about girls and women. It's going to be a lot of like swearing and N-words and go drink bleach, especially if they play League of Legends. And this is going to be bad. I'm expecting this to be friggin' terrible.
In an age of call-outs, culture wars, and perfect facades, people can be afraid to express how they really feel. So we brought together 7 strangers, protected their identities, and asked them all 7 burning audience questions. What will be revealed when we take the mask off?
If
So
the
they take their
answer
masks
is
off.
yes, you will flip on your light. Do you watch porn?
Oh, hold on. This has to be all of them, yes. There is not going to be a single teenage boy who has not watched porn. I guess is do you watch porn? Okay, it could be there could be somebody who's maybe stopped. But even then, how long do you have to stop in order for it to be like, well, I'm not watching anymore. It's been 24 hours. Like I'm expecting it to be everybody. And if it's not, they're all freaking liars. Oh, you 3 liars!
It's accessible, and because it's accessible and it's there, people use
Liz.
it. I'm one of them.
I think most guys can agree that they have at least at some point watched it, and I mean, it's if you can enjoy it in a healthy way, if you can enjoy masturbating in a healthy way, I think then like by all means go for it. But
Yeah,
Back in my day, I had a dial-up internet. Okay, this is back in BattleNet Diablo 1 days. Yeah, Diablo 1. And like to just like load a single picture, like a single porn picture or something would take you like 30 seconds to a minute. So you just be like waiting as it's loading and you're like you were seeing it come in and you're like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And then I used to oh, I had a bad reputation, man. I was known as the porn king at high school because I was like a tech guy. Like I worked like whatever. I ended up going to programming, but I was like this techie nerdy kid, and I would download all these porn pictures, right? And I would save them on floppy disks, and then I would sell them at school for like $10 to different kids. So it actually made me a little bit of money.
I do watch porn. God. A lot of my teenage years, I spent a lot of time self-obsessing over it to the point where it kind of became an addiction. And it took until very recently to get out of the hole of, paying for porn. I do watch it, but I don't like that I watch it.
I'm going to bring everyone else into the conversation.
I don't think anybody likes that they watch it, at least from a guy perspective. Like after you jerk off, you don't feel good. You kind of feel like shame. You're just like, oh God, I did it again. It's just like, oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I don't think there's anybody who does that and just like, yeah, I feel great. Oh yeah, oh, it's so amazing. Can't wait till I do this again. Oh yeah.
I said no. I used to watch it a lot before. I would say I was addicted to it. My dad is in prison, so there was no one really for me to talk to about sex. So porn was my education on sex.
What? Come on. That doesn't make sense to me. When I was young, even like, okay, internet was new, but your friends would freaking talk to you about sex and stuff. You didn't have to go online to find out about sex. But I guess now that's easier and everything is online. Oh, well, maybe, yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. That's pretty wild though, because porn is like, specifically whatever you watch, it could be like some really bad stuff. You're like, oh yeah, when I get my first sexual relation, I gotta slap that bitch. Yeah, slap her. Pee on our face. Just pee all over her. Golden showers. So that's what they like. I've seen it. It's just like, oh my God.
From personal experience, it messed me up because after watching it so much, you know, I'm sure we've all been there where you're on page 5 and like nothing is right. Like you're looking for that right video, but your dopamine like receptors and everything is so messed up at this point that the same thing that would get you off wouldn't get you off anymore. Right? I went so deep into it where I'm a straight man. I started watching trans porn because it was just erotic in a different way that I've never seen before. I needed more stimulation.
Because of pornography?
Yes, because of pornography. So I don't think it's just entertainment. It actually affects with your brain and the way you perceive love.
That's okay. It started off funny, what he was saying, and then I was like, you know what? This is actually a very serious point, and it's true because I have been through the same experience when I used to watch a lot of porn. Definitely, I've had the same experience as him, is where you end up being like, oh yeah, you're just watching like some girl strip, and then they have like sex, and it's pretty normal. And then it's like you're getting into like some really hardcore stuff where they're like gagging on it, and it's just like there's uh, anal, and then it goes to like he said, it goes to like trans porn or something, or like super massive boobs like that are unrealistic, like extreme versions of stuff, or like gangbangs and orgies and stuff, and it's just you just end up going down this weird rabbit hole. So I agree with him, but definitely like I know since when you stop watching it, like resets yourself.
You think that a lot of teenagers or teen boys are really educated on the effects of pornography?
No.
Not at all.
Have you ever cried in front of someone else?
They're kids, of course they have.
I wholeheartedly agree with the statement. I feel like it's easier to open up towards women, which is kind of embarrassing, but like, quite frankly, I feel like they understand emotions more because they really understand the whole crying. I mean, I feel like crying is sort of normal to them, and they see of it as like a way to express themselves.
It's interesting that you said that you're more comfortable to cry in front of women. I had a girlfriend and she broke up with me over text. And before that, we were like talking and I cried in front of her and I was being honest, and I thought that's what you're supposed to do. That's what my dad taught me, right? But I guess she interpreted it as being insecure, and she broke up with me, and that really messed me up for a little while because it's like, well, now I know I can't show any kind of insecurity. So I don't like crying in front of women. Like I'd rather cry in front of some family that I trust, right?
That's interesting.
That's crazy, dude. And well, there are two parts of that is crazy. One, they broke up with you over text. I feel like people just like are so uncomfortable with just being honest with the person and breaking up with them. Like when I was doing a lot more dating, because now I don't do that much dating, I'm older. But before I was doing a lot of dating in my early 20s, literally, when I was breaking up with somebody, I would tell them to their face, we had cell phones. I could have been like, just call them or text them and be like, we're breaking up. But I like actually take these girls on a date, like we go like walk in the park usually, like something simple, and we just go like sit in the bench, and I would be like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna work out. I'm not really feeling this relationship anymore. You're a really great person, but I think we need to go our separate ways. And I would do that, and it would be awkward, obviously, and then sometimes they'd be crying or whatever. But I mean, literally, one time I broke up with this girl. Okay, she was Japanese. Her parents were coming from Japan that day, so they came that day, and I broke up with her. And they were actually coming. Apparently, they were excited to meet me. Um, Maybe I was being a dick. Actually, like the way I explain it sounds fucking terrible. And what ended up happening is I broke up with her, and then she's like, "Well, could you pretend to be my boyfriend still, and meet my parents tonight?" So we took them out to the restaurant, and I was just like, pretend like nothing happened, that I was still in this relationship. And they didn't speak very good English, so she was translating a lot. But they were like, "Oh, you're such a nice boy. We're so happy you're dating our daughter, a nice Canadian boy, whatever." I was just like, "Oh my God." It was so bad. This was also the day that somehow I wrecked my shirt right before we went to the restaurant. So my friend, who was like much fatter than me, at the time had to borrow me this shirt. So I was wearing like this oversized shirt to this restaurant. It was so freaking stupid. They probably thought I was weird, but I guess I was nice to them because they said that. But hey. And then in terms of crying in front of women, yeah, man, that's you really have to judge the person you're with. Because I agree with you. Like I've been with some women that if you do that, it's like, oh my God, huge turnoff. And it's surprising. It's really surprising. Even if it's something like super big, like it's a big thing in your life, like somebody in your family died, you know? It's like, because that's literally what happened. Somebody in my family died, and I was upset about it, and I was upset for like, I think like 2 or 3 days, and maybe it was because we had a couple conversations about it, and she was like, "Hey, how come you're still sad?" But she told me after those 2 3 days that she like lost attraction for me because I was so upset, because my favorite uncle died, and I was just like, "Okay, you are not the person for me." I was like, "That's effed." Like, if anybody should be supportive, like, mind you, we were early in our dating, but you would think if anybody's going to be supportive, it should be the person who's like interested in you, but shit doesn't always happen that way. So yeah, you got to gauge that thing real well.
Because I'd rather find a stranger on the street and tell them everything I'm going through, because I will never see them again in my life, and I feel like they won't be able to judge me.
No
I'll
strings
never
attached.
see them. I'd rather have a stranger think I'm strong and my family know all my problems, so it's interesting.
Different ways of thinking. Hey.
Feminism has gone too far.
Oh.
In the feminism movement, there's so much of tearing down men or trying to put men back in their spot. But if the women want us men to step up, then I feel like it'd be a lot more productive, instead of tearing down men and telling us all what we're doing wrong, than to, on the other hand, to build us up. I guess for the sake of keeping us accountable for our actions, and as men, we also need to step up.
Giving females more opportunities to certain things, I just think that's quite unfair. And it's like, you gotta put in the work, you gotta put in the certain things to earn these things. And it's not like women are granted less access to these jobs. I mean, I know there's plenty of women who are in business, who are doing good things for America. I just find it counterintuitive that this whole feminist movement is advocating for equal rights in certain things when they already have access to them.
I'm a feminist. I guess I believe in the equality of men and women. I think that when we talk about feminism, a lot of it boils down to employment. I think that the bringing down of men, you guys keep on saying bringing down men and shaming them, I think that is way overstated. I have never been shamed for my maleness.
I think, if you look at any movement, there's definitely going to be like a radical portion of that movement. But at the same time, I want to open up the question to you guys. Do any of you guys have personal experience where you feel you've been brought down, you know, like to bring a woman up?
A little bit like in high school. And it's not like the worst thing in the world. We have like an ASB my sophomore year, there was like happy thoughts, right? Like every Friday you just write something and you put it in the bin. It'll just be the girls and then some, you know, more of the feminine guys complimenting each other, which is not a problem, but as they're complimenting each other, oh, look at you, you're killing it, and then they'll even like insult me. It went from being happy thought to build up Women Day.
Oh, this is being an asshole. Like they're being assholes.
You know what I mean?
I feel like there's a wall, and we should break down that wall and focus on the human race. Not women, not men, not Mexicans, not this. We should all bring each other up.
I've been
I like that guy's point. It's just bringing everybody up. It's a good way to look at it.
anxious about my penis size.
That's gonna be all of them. Oh.
I started watching pornography, I think around the age of
Yeah, and then you see like these 2.5 footers or whatnot. Like there's some guys in there, and it clearly has to be a prosthetic, man. It is so freaking big, like it's like 4 hands are holding it, and there's still an extra foot. Like it doesn't even make sense. Definitely, they're making some prosthetics or something, and then people watch that and they think it's real.
11 or 12, and that's, you know, that's a very impressionable, vulnerable place to be in. So of course, there's always these feelings about looking at your body.
Yeah, and I think the competition is probably what affects me the most part. You know, it's the thing you're like, I know good and well there's dudes bigger than me, and she says it doesn't matter, but it still plays on my mental when I go to sleep at night.
Dude, it doesn't matter. There'll always be someone bigger than and better than you in everything. So it literally doesn't matter. But I know you're young, so you'll get over this. But literally, like there's somebody who will beat you at everything. It's just how it is. Like the chances that you will be that one person that beats everybody is so low that it's just go with somebody is beating you at everything, and just be fine with it. You don't got to be the best at everything, right? That's not it. So you may not got the biggest, just that you know how to use it, and you know how to use your other body parts to get the job done.
Currently, I'm not really like afraid of the size that I have because I am kind of
Because I'm large. I'm 12 inches when I fold it in half.
becoming more confident in my body and the way that I am. And I don't really feel like it's going to matter nearly as much when you're with someone for 10 years.
He tucks it down his pant leg. It's just, you just see this big lump down his leg. And you're like, that guy's got a really thick thigh on the one side.
As you are for like a one-night stand. So I am not personally like that uncomfortable with my size.
Everything that you just said like is true, and like you just need to become confident in your own self by knowing what people really look for. But like it's hard to get on Netflix and watch Euphoria and think like these are like grown-ass men playing high school people, and you think like, well, that's not what I look like. And then
Oh my God, that's what they do with all those shows. It's literally, yeah, it's like 20-somethings-year-olds playing like high school kids, and it's just not realistic in terms of that way, and they try to like make it. I mean, it's always been that way though, as far as I can remember. Like those are the shows that I grew up with, like 90210. It was the same thing, or Saved by the Bell, same thing. They were just all done in that same style. It was 20-something-year-olds. That might be because I guess it's teenagers, like they have school and stuff, and it's harder to get them to like just work. I don't know. I'd be curious to know actually why they do that.
when you think about like every person that I have been with or will be with has probably seen this. I think that's really where that anxiety comes from. It's just the fact that other people probably have expectations.
I have questioned my sexuality.
I guess growing up, I was never one of like the jocks of school. I always was into music, I was always into theater, and so growing up, You know, I was always bullied because of that, because I was being too gay or whatever, and I always hung out with the girls. And so I definitely did kind of buy into what everyone else was saying, their peer pressure of like saying, oh, you're gay, this is how you're gonna end up turning out because this is how you are now. With where I am now in my life, I've just kind of gotten to a place where I've grown to be confident. I know what my identity is.
You know, that's interesting because there people are still saying that in schools, right? Like they're using gay as a derogatory term about him, and they're making fun of him, calling him gay just because he was into music, which I was too. I loved music and computers. I had a whole, yeah, music, computers, science. Those are my things. Yeah, that they use that because now we're like so far along this path where, you know, we've had gay pride for what, like over 20 years, 30 years? I don't know. It's been a long time. So you would think that the kids would not be saying that as much, like it wouldn't be used, but it's actually interesting that they're saying that's what's happening. Or he's giving the example, that's what happened to him.
People thinking that definitely, like, it gets you thinking, you know? It gets you thinking like, well, like, am I? Or should I be? You know, it's like, should I be attracted to dudes because I like things that are quote unquote gay? You know, but then I guess it just reveals the issue that like we've made certain things gay and made certain things straight.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true, man. It's so true. Oh my God. Certain things are gay. It's true. It's like you can't watch like a romantic comedy because that's gay. You can't like colorful stuff because that's gay. You can't like music class because that's gay. Or drama, also gay. Yeah, if you're into plays and stuff. Oh my
Mine's
God.
didn't stem from any kind of like extra like curricular activity. My stuff stemmed from porn, as I mentioned before. And when I started watching trans porn, and it's weird to say, but like I got really nervous. I got really nervous because I thought maybe I'd be gay. And so, you know, I did my research on it, and I was kind of obsessed with trying to figure out like what this could mean. And all the stuff I would look up was saying like, if you watch trans porn, you're still straight because they're women and stuff like that. But I'm thinking like, what would my family think?
This all the stuff I would look up is if you watch trans porn, you're still straight because they're women. Yeah, because there's that whole thing where trans individuals are like, if you don't want to date a trans woman and you're a man and you're a cis man, then you're homophobic. It's like, no, maybe I just prefer somebody who doesn't have a dick, or I prefer natural women rather than like fake stuff. People are allowed to have preferences. Not everybody needs to find you attractive and be into you.
I've never sought out, like every time I talk to a trans woman in real life, there's no like actual attraction there. So I'm still.
Holy smokes, he's talking to trans women and he's a teenager? See this is weird to me because I didn't meet any trans women until I was in my 20s. I was going to raves. I was big into raves. I was a bit of a, I wouldn't call myself a candy kid, but like a lot of my friends were candy kids, so we'd have like the glow sticks. I mean, they'd just be covered in stuff. But so many people that I met were trans women there. Like it was insane, and they were all attracted to me. I had so many encounters with them that my friends literally called me, like they were like, you're a trans magnet. Like wherever you go, we take you to a freaking rave, it's always the girl that you're talking to is the trans one. And I was just like, dude, I don't know. Like it's not like I'm trying to do that. I guess I just look like a nice guy, or look like I don't know. Maybe I look like I'm gay. I don't know. It was just all the time. It happened like it was probably like every second party we went to, it happened. So they were generally like, okay, is Sean gonna get approached by this trans person tonight? Like, it's a 50-50 shot. It's just wild.
Lost in the fact of what I actually am attracted to, but I guess I am still straight because there are women.
I am still straight because they are women. I don't know. That's debatable. Like, I mean, it's still, it depends who you talk to, I guess, right? That's what I mean by debatable. I mean, I kind of feel like if they have a ding dong down there, I don't know, dude. Like, if you're gonna have a sexual encounter with them, like, are you gonna do stuff with it? Is that's not something that a woman would have, like a normal woman. So it's just like, I'm not judging you. You can suck your dick all you want. I don't care. But it's just like, I don't know. I think you're not just straight then if you do that. Like if it's a reoccurring thing, you know what I'm saying?
Quite frankly, right now I feel happy with my sexuality, and I feel it's not wrong to question your sexuality in terms of law in America. Like you're free to question whatever you want. You can question your religion, you can question your culture. It's just society is the things that constrains those certain things to be what's normal and what's wrong.
I feel like there's such a strong stigma to be straight, you know, like, or strong, like a more like a pushing you into it. That even right now, I feel the desire to like explain myself, even though we're anonymous right now. I feel like I've never been with, like, I've only been with like actual like cis women, but like I know this, like no one is judging me. We're all here to be honest, but it's such a stigma that from the last 18 years of my life, that in this moment right now I feel embarrassed and ashamed for something that should just be, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid, but I mean, people would feel that way even if it wasn't about that. Like if it was just about how many sexual partners if you have, like people would like be like kind of embarrassed and ashamed about it. Or if they're like, how much alcohol did you drink? People might be embarrassed, ashamed. There's like a lot of different things that we say in society where people feel embarrassed and shamed about it, and that's a way of kind of getting people not to do those things that might be, bad. And I say bad in quotes because I mean, it kind of depends who you talk to. Um, it's just a way of trying to keep everybody in sort of like in the rails. So everybody stay within these guidelines.
I'm scared of dying.
I would expect no.
I think of it as like I'm extremely scared of death. I mean, I watched my father die like right before me. It's a scary thing. They just stop breathing, and just the idea of like nothing is just extremely terrifying to me. It's like you don't really know what's going on. Like, are you even thinking? Are you even there? You're just a blip out of just space.
Yeah, but think of it this way: like once you're gone, and if you don't believe in some religion, right, that like you go to another place. But just imagine, like, if you're gone, like, what does it matter anymore? That's how I think about it. It's like, well, when I'm dead, it doesn't matter anymore. And all these problems and things that I'm worrying about right now don't matter. It's just like things just stop mattering. And it's just like none of it matters. So, like, who cares?
It is terrifying. We don't know. And as a Christian, I want to pretend that like I know that there's, heaven and hell, but at the end of the day, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I think I always had the fear as a kid growing up that I'm gonna die and like not fulfill like what I wanted to do here on Earth, right? But every time I thought about dying, it was as an old person. But 2 years ago, when I started working as a lifeguard, this lady and her friend came to the pool, and I have the music going and everything. She just starts having a seizure, and luckily, I did everything right, and EMS showed up, and she was safe. But then 2 weeks later, she unfortunately had another seizure while driving, and she died. And that's when I realized life is like, it can happen to anyone at any point. And if I just die and don't do anything with my life, then
That's so true. I think he learned a valuable lesson in that. Like that was a really impactful experience for him. I was driving on the weekend to visit some friends in another city. It's like a 2-hour drive, and I'm on the highway, and I've done the drive so many times, but this day, some guy didn't stop when he was coming onto the highway. Like he cut into my lane and hit me in the back essentially. Like he didn't see me apparently, which is weird because it's a totally clear day. Um, So he didn't see me. He was like some farmer, and he like spun me around, rolled me off the road. I'm doing like 125 kilometers an hour. I don't know what that is in miles. What is it? 1.4? So like maybe 75 or something like that. And my car gets totaled, and I come out of it with like just a scratch on my head. But I remember being like, how quickly things happen. And it was kind of like I just saw when it was happening. I was just like, I seen him coming because he was coming up on me, and I was just like, shit. That's all I had time to say, and then it was like too late. Oh my God. Could have died. I mean, like a lot of people, like depend if I would have got hit on the driver's side instead of him hitting me on the back side of the driver's side by like the trunk just behind the rear seats. So it's weird, man.
That's what I'm scared of.
I said that I don't fear death because unlike you guys, I don't really have an experience, so much hands-on experience with death.
Am I afraid of the fact that I will die someday? No. But I think, you know, obviously the fact that it might come way sooner than you expect is a scary thought. But like, it's the one thing that makes life like special. You know what I mean? It's the one thing I feel like that actually gives meaning to it. Because if you would never die, then you would never do anything. You know, because you would always have more time to do it.
That was a good point. So you never know how much time you have, so don't waste it. So do the things that you've been waiting to do. Just do them because you don't know. You could literally be driving to work tomorrow and that could be your last day. So make sure that you do your best to treat every day like it's your last day, in a sense. That's why we shouldn't be like mean and shitty to people, right? We should try to be kind of like nicer to people and obviously be loving to those around you that are important to you and show them how much you do love them.
Do you guys feel like you can actually be your genuine self when you're like talking to a girl or hanging out with a girl?
There's definitely a difference between like talking or opening up to like my friends that are girls versus like a girl that I'm interested in.
Like obviously if you're trying to impress a girl, you're gonna be dressed nicely, you're gonna wear some cologne, you're not gonna like fart around her, right? It's a filter thing. But like when it comes to your mom, like your mom's a girl, and I wholeheartedly trust my mom. So I'm gonna be myself around the people I trust more.
I guess that's what it is. There's a lot of times I walk away with talking to a girl I'm really interested in, and I'm like, man, I didn't just go up and be me. And then my best friend, right? He used to be my best friend. He's kind of a womanizer, but I see him get so much like, you know, success. And every time I've gotten success, he's doing things that he's done, which is just putting on a facade, telling them what they want to hear.
I think
Yeah, because they're also young too, right? They don't have experience. So when they hear those things, they're like, oh my God, he's speaking to me. He's the one. Oh. You know? Whereas, yeah, because at that age, teenage girls are not mature enough in general for you to be like super genuine and get them. It's like you guys all gotta wait till you're like in your 30s. Once you're in your 30s, then you become the prize. Right now, nobody cares. Nobody cares unless you're like super hot or you're rich maybe or something. You got like a car and like a fancy stuff.
think it's good to be yourself because, I mean, you can only put a mask on for so long. It's refreshing to talk to people and realize that I'm not the only one who feels a certain way about things. It's nice, and it's a step in the right direction for me in becoming more comfortable with being open and honest with everybody.
I think just the whole open conversation, like this won't bite me in the end later, or like someone's not gonna listen to this and think, oh, that guy's bad. I have more safety of expressing my honest opinions, and whether those be good opinions or bad opinions, it's a better way to express one's true self without trying to be influenced by what high school is and all the people influencing you in high school, because frankly, high school is just popular culture, what people think is popular.
Yeah, that's exactly what high school is. And on top of with the anonymity thing, it's like, but like on Twitter, you can be anonymous and say whatever, but you don't. I don't know, people don't do this. I think it's because you're in person that they were able to have this conversation. But we were on Twitter and you're anonymous. Generally, it's just people getting mad at each other and like flaming and stuff and gaslighting people. Like it's so dumb. So this is because you guys are in person. That's what I think.
Thank you so much.
So I thought overall that video was pretty interesting. They didn't get too crazy, which I mean, I was being facetious at the start. Like there was nobody swearing and saying N words and stuff. But I thought the questions were probably a little more adult, let's say. Like you could tell maybe like someone who was older is asking the question because I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe teenagers wouldn't have had that discussion, but maybe they would have. Maybe they would have. You know, it's been a while since I was a teenager, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too. Please like and subscribe if you would like to see more of these types of videos.